What's up and good morning? This is Sammy Geek here and just cruising in the Rivian right now, the R1T. In case you guys didn't know, that is the latest vehicle. And I just picked up some McDonald's and I look like crap because it's the first thing in the morning here. And I did want to just get a quick video out for you guys. Anyone who is talking tires or thinking tires or what decision should I make because I live in a snowy area, I just want to say a couple things. Let me pull over here and so I can look at the camera, but it's really cracking me up because listen, I have lived in the state of Minnesota for the most part and Michigan my entire life, and I've driven probably 30 different vehicles in the since before this Rivian. So I have a ton of experience driving in snowy conditions in a northern climate. Okay, so I guess I'm probably somebody that could speak to driving on crappy winter, snowy, icy roads, right? I'm an authority when it comes to that. let's get that on the line, okay? But I keep reading online on the Rivian forums and all these different groups about you shouldn't drive in the snow in an all-season tire. It's so horrible. You're gonna run off the road. You're never gonna beat. You're gonna endanger other drivers, and your truck is gonna crash immediately. Right? You're not gonna move an inch. But I don't want to break their little hearts. But I do want to say, probably 29 of those 30 vehicles that I've driven, those were being driven with all-season tires. I had one Audi Quattro where I had all-season tires. I'm sorry, winter tires. The rest of them had all-season tires. So listen, there's a difference between a winter tire and an all-season that's going to be much more sticky in this. I haven't had coffee yet. It's going to be much more sticky in the snow, which is great, right? You're going to notice it, but frankly, I don't know. It depends. If you have a good all season nowadays, I would say that snow tires probably, like, call it on a scale from 1 to 10, a snow tire, call it a 10. A really good all season, it should definitely be at least a 6, maybe a 7. So everybody that's so paranoid about an all season, come on, go to any rental car in any state where there's snow, and every single rental car has all season tires. If they were that horribly dangerous, you would have winter tires on all your rental cars. I know this because I travel a lot for work and I rent a ton of cars, and every single one that I've rented, maybe you could get a Jeep or a truck that has like an all terrain type of tire. But so anyway, let's circle back. So that's the background I wanted to talk about. Let's circle back and talk about the Rivian. So my Rivian that I'm sitting in here has the 22s. So I've got the black 22s on it. And I just had this in for service because here comes this big truck. I need to make sure I'm not in the way. I just had it in for service, and they basically went through and touched up a couple little rattles here and there, and they did a really nice job on the vehicle. So I was blown away. That's probably going to be another video, maybe after I have more coffee and fix my hair. So anyway, they fixed the rat. They probably had it for, like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days, right? Probably, yeah, it was probably closer to 4 or 5 because I had to travel for business as well. And then I picked it up when I landed. So they gave me a loaner R1T, and the loaner R1T had the 20s. So it had the Ultra Rain 20s. Now these are they're Pirelli 20s that are 3-peak rated, so they're basically one step below a snow tire. So we got a little bit of snow. We actually had a few days like where we had some powder. Early in the morning, I went out and tested the 20s, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But tested the 20s, ran those around. Actually loaded my son up in the back, and we went and tested the roads real early, just before the sun even came up. And then, like, the next day, I think we ended up getting like 4 inches or something, and then by then it was packed down in some areas on the road. So I had a chance to try the 20s, is what I'm saying. And I was pretty impressed. They were pretty grippy. To the point where I started thinking, oh man, I need to buy a set of these for this truck. So I ordered a set of winter tires, actually dedicated snow tires for my 22, but naturally they're back ordered like crazy. So anyway, long story short, I had plenty of time on the 20s. And I was like, these are pretty awesome. I was able to slide out a few times, but it's just part of winter driving. I mean, you're not on ice skates. I mean, literally, like what I mean, you're not on rails, right? So you are going to slide out if you push the truck. And I don't care what tires you have, you know, dedicated winters, all terrains, whatever it is. That's the difference. But a seasoned driver, having my driver's license since I was 16 years old, driving 30 different cars with all season tires, only one with dedicated winter, I'm super familiar with kind of the feel. So the truck you did notice a little bit of the weight of the truck, but I think that really increased the traction. Naturally, I give myself a ton of distance as it is when I drive personally. So I do it even when it's dry out. I use regen braking a lot. So the point is, the 20s felt really nice. Like I was like, wow, this is cool. They were just planted. Like it was just crazy. The traction off the line was really well. You could get it to slip if you wanted, but it was impressive. This is coming from a Model X and a Model 3 with a really nice all-season tire. The Model 3 was pretty decent, but it didn't hold a candle to the 20s on the Rivian truck. So anyway, fast forward again. Now I'm back in the 22s. I had some snowy conditions to try the 22s. I need to report back after a full drive, like full-blown snowstorm. But so far, I was very impressed. I must say, with the 22s. I don't know, maybe it's because they're brand new. Maybe after a year of driving these, maybe they're not going to be quite as good. But I just drove through some glare ice that had been packed down in a parking lot. And I literally parked the truck and I expected it to slide everywhere when I hit the throttle, and it stuck. I mean, I don't know if maybe the top was a little bit melted, but it stuck really nicely, and I was like very impressed. And then yesterday I found some snowy areas to kind of stop it. It was like packed down, very slick snow, and I found these areas to kind of pull over, and I hit it, and the truck stuck really nice. And so here's what I can tell you. So far, the 22s are not that bad. Everybody's freaking out. Like, let me break this down for you again. I said it earlier, but let's just say the 20 all-terrain is a 10 on the scale of awesomeness in snow and ice. I think that, actually, I'm going to step it back one even further, because if you look at a dedicated snow tire as compared to the all-terrain 20, I bet we're talking like, call the snow tire a 10. I bet the all-terrain is like, I don't know, an 8, right? So we're already down a little bit in the scale just because it's not a dedicated winter tire, but it is 3 peak rated. But I think if you, after driving the 20s and then driving the 22s, now I need to get a full report out, but I'm thinking that the 20s, if you call the 20s a 10, like in the scale from 1 to 10, I think that the 22s are probably a 7 or an 8. That's how high I would rate them. So they're not that much further behind the 20s. So if you are wondering, should I get the 20s or should I get the 22s? You got to think about what are you doing most of the time? Think about that. If you're doing off-roading or you live on gravel roads or you need a all-terrain tire, clearly go that route. But if you're like me, I like to go play around and drive in the snow. But that difference between like a 7 or 8 up to a 10, it doesn't justify going out and spending thousands of dollars on wheels and tires so I can traverse the crazy streets that are literally plowed and sanded and salted like less than 6 hours after a snowstorm. So If you live in the country and you have unplowed roads that take a long time for plows to get out or cleaned up, yeah, you're definitely going to want the 20s. But if you live in the city or somewhere where they plow in less than a few hours after a snowstorm, come on, let's get real. Your truck is not going to be $5,000, or well, let's call it, what are the wheels now? Like the wheel package from Rivian's $4,000. So it's not going to be $4,000 better because you went out and got a set of the 20s so you can traverse over to the mall that is 3 miles away or make your Costco run. If you're a careful driver and if you respect the snow and you respect the ice, for me anyway, as a very experienced driver in the snow, the 22s, I believe, are going to do the job. So I will report back after, after probably the next snowstorm. I'll report back and maybe I'll do some photos for you guys. My car's like, wait a second, you've been talking too long. I'll report back with a longer video, maybe some footage of the 22s out in some snow. So hang tight, subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Peace.